Your attention span is not getting worse overnight. It's being slowly, quietly trained. And the most dangerous part, you don't even notice it happening. It doesn't feel like damage, it feels normal. You wake up, check your phone, scroll for a few minutes, jump between apps, watch short clips, reply to messages, nothing extreme, nothing alarming. But then something strange happens later in the day. You sit down to do something important, and your brain resists. You can't focus for long, you get restless, you feel the urge to check something, anything. So you assume, I just need more discipline. But what if that's not true? What if your attention span isn't failing you, but adapting to how you live? Because every small habit you repeat daily is teaching your brain how to function. Well, and right now, most people are unknowingly training their brain to crave distraction. Not because they're lazy, but because of habits that seem harmless, yet slowly rewire how their mind works. And once you see them, you won't be able to ignore them again. You probably don't think your attention span is bad, just inconsistent. And that's what makes it so confusing, because you felt what real focus is like. There are moments, rare but real, where you sit down, start working, and everything just flows. No resistance, no distractions, time disappears. In those moments, you feel sharp, in control, capable, like, this is the real me. But then, those moments fade. And lately, they don't last as long. What used to be an hour of focus becomes 20 minutes, then 10, and now, sometimes you struggle just to start. Yet you open your laptop, stare at the task, and something feels off. Not overwhelming, not impossible, just heavy. So your brain looks for an escape. You check one notification, open one tab, scroll for just a minute. And before you even notice it, you're gone. Not physically, but mentally. You come back 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes later with that quiet thought, what was I doing again? And this keeps happening. You read a paragraph and forget it halfway. You start something and abandon it without realizing. You switch tasks, not because you decided to, but because something pulled you. It's subtle. There's no dramatic moment where you lose focus. It just slips, like trying to hold water in your hands. And the most frustrating part, you're not doing nothing. You're active all day, scrolling, watching, replying, clicking, by switching. From the outside, it looks like you're engaged, but deep down, you know the truth. None of it is moving your life forward. It's motion without direction. And when it's time to do something that actually matters, something that requires depth, your brain feels weaker, less patient, less stable. So naturally, you start questioning yourself. Why can't I focus like I used to? Am I just getting lazy? But pause for a second. Because what if that's the wrong conclusion? What if nothing is wrong with you, but something is happening to you? What if your attention isn't failing? It's adapting to the way you live, the way you consume, the way you switch every single day. And if that's true, then the real question isn't, why can't I focus? It's, what have I been training my brain to do? Yeah, your brain learns from repetition, not from what you plan to do, not from what you wish you did, but from what you actually do every single day. And that's where most people get it wrong. You might intend to focus, you might want to be disciplined, but your brain doesn't learn from intention. It learns from behavior. So let's look at what you're actually training it to do. You open your laptop, start a task, then switch tabs. That's one repetition. You pick up your phone for a quick check, then scroll longer than you plan. That's another repetition. You interrupt yourself mid-task just to see something new. Another repetition. Individually, these moments feel small, almost harmless, but your brain is paying attention to all of them. And over time, it starts building a pattern: fast input, constant novelty, low effort rewards. And this becomes your new baseline. Your brain starts expecting stimulation to come quickly and frequently. So when you sit down to do something different, something slow, quiet, and effortful, like studying, working, or reading, your brain reacts, not with focus, but with resistance. It feels boring, heavy, uncomfortable, and you assume, I just can't focus. But that's not what's happening. Your brain isn't broken, it's just trained for a different environment. Now here's where it gets deeper. This entire system is driven by dopamine, but not in the way most people think. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about anticipation. It spikes when something new is about to happen. That's why opening a new app feels good. That's why switching tabs feels satisfying. Your brain gets rewarded for switching, not for staying. And so the more you jump between things, the more your brain expects that pattern. It starts craving change, craving novelty, craving the next quick hit. And when that pattern isn't available, when you try to sit still and focus, your brain pushes back. It feels restless, irritated, distracted. That feeling you call lack of focus, it's not weakness, it's withdrawal. Withdrawal from constant stimulation. And once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself and start asking a much better question. What kind of brain have I been training every single day? Most people think attention span is something you either have or you don't. Like talent, like intelligence, like it is just fixed. So when focus feels harder, the conclusion is automatic. Maybe I'm just not built for this. But that belief is the real problem. It is because attention isn't something you're born with. It's something you train every single day. And right now, most people are training it in the wrong direction. Not intentionally, but consistently. Think about what happens in a normal day. You feel a moment of boredom and instantly reach for your phone. You start a video, then skip to the next one before it finishes. You begin a task, and the moment it gets slightly difficult, you switch. These don't feel like big decisions. They feel automatic, harmless, but your brain is learning from every one of them. And the lesson it's learning is simple. Don't stay, move on. Don't sit with discomfort. Don't go deep, stay shallow. Now imagine what happens when you finally try to do something that matters, something that requires patience, something that doesn't give you instant feedback. Your brain resists, not because it can't focus, but because it's been trained to escape the exact feeling that focus requires. And that's the part most people never see. They keep trying to build focus without realizing they're destroying it at the same time. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while there's a hole at the bottom. You pour more in, more effort, more discipline, more motivation, but it never fills up because something is leaking, and the leak isn't obvious. It's not one big habit, it's a pattern of small ones, repeated daily, reinforced constantly. So instead of asking, how do I focus more? You need to ask, what am I doing? That's training my brain to lose focus. Because once you see that, once you catch those small automatic behaviors in real time, everything starts to shift. You stop blaming your ability and start noticing your patterns. And that's where real control begins. Because you can't fix what you don't see. But once you see it, you can change it. If your habits trained your brain to lose focus, then they can train it to rebuild it. That's the part most people overlook. They think, I've ruined my attention span. But you didn't ruin it, you shaped it. And anything that's shaped can be reshaped. Not by forcing yourself to focus harder, but by redesigning what your brain experiences every day. Start with this simple shift. Reduce stimulation. Increase depth. Right now, your brain is used to constant input. Fast, easy, endless. So the goal isn't to suddenly become perfectly focused. It's to slowly change what your brain expects. First, limit high-frequency input. You don't need to quit everything. That just create boundaries. For example, notice what happens when you wake up. Most people grab their phone immediately, scroll, check, consume, before their brain has even settled. That sets the tone for the entire day. So instead, delay it. No phone for the first hour. Just that one change already reduces noise. Second, train sustained attention. This is where you rebuild the skill. Pick one activity daily that requires focus. Reading, writing, studying, and keep it small. 10 minutes. No switching, no checking, no interruptions. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. Your mind will wander. You'll feel the urge to stop. That's not failure, that's training. Because every time you stay, even when it's hard, you're teaching your brain something new. It's okay to be here, and over time, that discomfort fades. Then, delay impulses. You see how this is powerful? The moment you feel the urge to check your phone, pause. Just 30 seconds. Don't act immediately. That tiny gap changes everything because you're breaking the automatic loop. You're telling your brain, we don't react instantly anymore. And finally, create friction for distractions. Right now, distraction is easy. One tap, one swipe, one click. So flip it, move apps, turn off notifications, log out, make it slightly harder because your brain always takes the easiest path. Always. So if distraction is easy, you'll drift. But if focus is easier, you'll stay. And that's a shift. You're not forcing discipline. You're designing behavior. And once your environment starts working for you, focus stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like your default. Now here's where everything starts to change. Balance is because at this point, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. You might be thinking, I need to fix everything. My habits are completely broken. But that's not true. You don't need a full reset, you just need to interrupt the pattern. That's it. Not 10 changes, not a perfect routine, just one. Maybe it's this. You wake up and for the first time, you don't touch your phone. Or you sit down and give one task just 10 minutes of your full attention. Or you notice the urge to switch and instead of acting on it, you stay just once. Because that one moment, it breaks the loop. And that's how change actually begins. Not through intensity, but through consistency. Small actions, repeated daily. That's what rewires your brain. Now, here's the part most people don't expect. At first, it won't feel good. In fact, it might feel worse. You'll sit there and your mind will get restless. It'll look for something, anything small to escape into. You'll feel the urge to check your phone, switch tabs, do something easier, and your brain will whisper, this isn't working. But it is. That discomfort, that's a signal. It means you're breaking a pattern that's been running for years, and your brain doesn't like that. But if you stay, even for a little longer, something starts to shift. You last a bit longer, you think a bit clearer, you stay a bit deeper, and over time, that bit becomes your new normal. Not because you forced it, but because your brain adapted again. This time, in your favor. And that's when the real change happens, not in your habits, but in your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't focus and start seeing yourself as someone who controls their attention, someone who finishes what they start, someone who can sit, think, and stay. Because attention isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. And once you train it correctly, you don't just improve your focus, you change how you work, how you think, how you live, and that's where everything else begins.